Billy McFarland is once again all over the news, and so is his Fyre Festival idea. And I can't believe I have more to say about this, especially since I've already recorded a podcast episode and wrote a blog post about it. But I have more thoughts about this turn of events that I need to get out of my system before I can put this to bed. And there have been some recent developments with the Fyre Festival 2 situation. Despite so many people and media outlets even suspecting Fyre Festival 2 will be a repeat of the original, McFarland insists this festival is real, it's happening, and the vision is strong. But rather than go into details and specifics, the lineup, who's agreed to offer accommodations for festival goers, what events are happening, etc., he uses weasel words. In interviews, on the website, basically anytime he talks about it. If the festival is real and the vision is so strong, why is McFarland being so vague? For instance, the Fyre Festival website states in the ticket package write-ups, all of them, the Fyre experiences will be released in a number of experiential drops leading up to the festival. For me, this can be interpreted as nothing has been planned or locked in yet. There is no verifying that McFarland has anything locked down in terms of talent, events happening at Fyre Festival 2, accommodations, or anything else required for a festival. One would have thought that McFarland, especially after having done prison time, would have learned that this is not how you do business. You need to tell people what they're getting for their money. There's a line between being general and being vague. When you're being general, there's some degree of clarity. But when you're being vague, you leave people to draw their own conclusions, so often the wrong ones. Of course, it doesn't help that McFarland presents well, but there's no way to verify anything he says. After the first Fyre Festival fiasco, legitimate businesses and A-list artists of any type or stripe won't touch Fyre Festival 2 with a 10-foot clown pole, as they clearly don't want that stink on them. Also, I seriously doubt any laborers will want to touch this either. If they know what happened with the first Fyre Festival, then they know if they get involved, they'll be stiffed, because McFarland also has that history. If Fyre Festival 2 is another scam and McFarland is using the funds to pay the restitution for the previous Fyre Festival debacle, then he's just digging himself into a bigger hole, as he'll have to pay restitution for this festival as well. Just for comparison's sake, I examined the websites for this year's Coachella and Beach Life festivals a couple of times each. Both websites state what attendees are getting for their money, including the most expensive packages. Sure, the descriptions are general, but anybody who thinks of purchasing tickets to these festivals will have a good idea of what they're getting for the money they spend. And there's none of this experiential drops bullshit on either website either. These festivals more or less have their talent lineups and everything else locked in. Within the last week or so, I've discovered the festival has been relocated from Isla Mujeres to Playa del Carmen. Officials in Playa del Carmen initially agreed to allow the Fyre Festival to occur there, but then did their homework, realized what they were getting themselves and the people of Playa del Carmen into, and changed their minds. I think it's because they don't want that stink on them, or to have what happened in Great Eczema in the Bahamas to happen there. And who can blame them? TMZ.com has a screenshot of a text message exchange between a member of the Fyre Festival team, I'm guessing it's McFarland himself, and an unidentified individual, in which the Fyre Festival team member has what can only be described as a temper tantrum about Playa del Carmen's officials not wanting any part of the second Fyre Festival. To quote financial writer Gail Vass Oxlade, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Billy McFarland has been described as a visionary. In Fyre, the greatest party that never happened, one person who worked with him on the first Fyre Festival has said that he was told that McFarland was the visionary behind Magnesis. Visionary. But McFarland is proof that there is a difference between being a visionary and being a dreamer. If one wants to give McFarland the benefit of the doubt, it's clear he's always been a dreamer, and a shiftless one at that. I'm glad that this time around there are people who realize that they'd be better off buying pixie dust than anything McFarland sells. Everything this individual does, from spling to magnesis to pirate to any Fyre festival, is a fugazi, a fake, a counterfeit, and thus if you buy anything from him, you will get burned. And considering the lead up to this Fyre Festival is so eerily reminiscent of the first one, I have no doubt the actual event will end the same way. And McFarland's constant, persistent protests about how the people he's working with wouldn't put on a fake festival and anything else he said on social media recently are a classic example of the lady protesting too much. This story is just another example of that old Apache proverb that it's better to have less thunder in the mouth and more lightning in the hand. But then again, as we all know by now, Billy McFarland has no shame.